fishing boat scraped against the dock at Vereth 3 days later, its hull battered by storms that had nearly swallowed them twice. Kira climbed onto the weathered planks and scanned the crowded waterfront, her bandaged hand tucked against her chest. The mark on her palm had not stopped glowing since she left the caravan, and she had wrapped it in strips torn from her shirt to hide the light. Marcus Thorne stepped onto the dock behind her, his boots heavy on the wood. He was a broad man with a soldier's bearing and a scar that ran from his left ear to his jaw. He had found her on the water, his own small boat appearing out of the fog like a ghost, and he had not left her side since. The Seeker underground operates out of a tavern called the Blind Eye, he said. 3 streets north of the fish market. We should move before the Throne's informants spot us. Kira turned to face him. You keep saying we, but I never agreed to travel with you. I do not need a protector. You need someone who knows how the Throne hunts. He met her gaze without flinching. I spent 8 years as an inquisitor. I know their methods, their routes, their blind spots. Without me, you will be dead or captured within the week. And why should I trust a man who spent 8 years murdering people like my mother? His jaw tightened. He looked away toward the crowded streets beyond the dock. Because a dying Seeker showed me what I had done. She held her shard against my face and made me watch every execution from the victim's eyes. I saw their fear, their pain, their final moments. He paused, and his voice dropped lower. I cannot undo what I did, but I can make sure it does not happen to you. Kira studied his face for a long moment. The scar, the rigid posture, the way his hands stayed loose at his sides like a man ready to fight at any second. She had seen soldiers before, but never one who looked quite so haunted. Fine, she said finally. But you follow my lead, and you do not make decisions for me. The moment you try to control where I go or what I do, I disappear, and you never find me again. He nodded once, understood. The Blind Eye Tavern crouched at the end of a narrow alley, its windows shuttered, and its door reinforced with iron bands. Marcus knocked in a specific pattern, 3 short raps followed by 2 long ones, and a slot opened at eye level. New moon rises, Marcus said, and the old sun sets. The slot closed, and the door swung inward. The interior was dim and crowded, filled with people who all shared the same haunted look around their eyes. Some had visible marks on their hands or faces where shards had bonded. Others kept their hands hidden in gloves or bandages. Kira pulled her wrapped hand closer to her body and followed Marcus to a table in the corner. They had barely sat down when a young woman dropped into the chair beside Kira, her eyes bright and her smile too wide. She was perhaps 19, with short dark hair and a scar across her nose that looked like it came from a blade. You are the one with the first piece, she said, her words tumbling out in a rush. I knew it. I knew you would come here. My shard showed me your face months ago, and I thought maybe I was going mad. But here you are, and it is real. It is actually real. Marcus reached for his knife, but Kira held up her unbandaged hand. Keep your voice down. Who are you? Senna Bright, thief and seeker, and probably the only person in this room who is not going to try to kill you for that shard. She leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper that was still too loud. Do you know what you are carrying? The first piece calls to every other fragment in existence. It is like a beacon, a signal fire, a song that every shard can hear. Within a month, every crystal in the world will be pulling toward you. Kiera's stomach lurched. She gripped the edge of the table with her good hand. That is not possible. It is very possible, and it is already happening. Senna pulled back her sleeve to reveal a small shard embedded in her forearm, glowing faintly blue. See, my fragment has been pointing toward you since you bonded. I could feel you coming from 3 days away. The tavern had gone quiet. Kiera looked up and found every eye in the room fixed on her bandaged hand, on the faint glow that seeped through the cloth wrappings. 3 men at the bar stood up, their hands moving toward weapons. "We need to leave," Marcus said, rising from his chair. "Now." The first man lunged before Kiera could stand. Marcus intercepted him with a blow to the throat, then spun to block a knife thrust from the second attacker. Kiera grabbed Senna's arm and pulled her toward the back of the tavern, ducking under a thrown bottle that shattered against the wall. "There is a door behind the kitchen," Senna shouted over the chaos. "I know a way out." They burst through the kitchen and into a narrow alley Marcus closed behind with blood on his knuckles. Senna led them through a maze of back streets and hidden passages until they emerged on a rooftop overlooking the river. Kiera rounded on the younger woman, her breath coming hard. "You nearly got us killed back there. Why would you announce what I am carrying to an entire room full of desperate seekers?" Senna's smile faltered. She looked down at her feet, scuffing her boot against the rooftop tiles. "I was excited. I have been waiting for you for so long, and when I finally saw you, I just wanted everyone to understand how important this is. I did not think about what they might do." "You did not think?" Kiera stepped closer, her voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "My mother did not think either. She was so excited about her shards, so certain that she could handle the visions, that she never stopped to consider what would happen to the people who depended on her. She left me to raise my brother alone while she chased prophecies that ate her mind piece by piece." Senna's eyes widened. She took a step back, her hands raised. "I am sorry. I did not know about your mother. My shard only showed me your face, not your story." Marcus moved to stand beside Kiera, his hand resting on her shoulder. "We need to find the Seeker Elders. They can tell us how to mask the first piece's call, or at least how to stay ahead of those who hunt it." Kiera shrugged off his hand, but nodded. "Fine. Senna, you know this city. Take us to whoever is in charge of the underground." The Seeker Elders met in a chamber beneath an abandoned temple, accessible only through a series of flooded tunnels that left them all soaked to the waist. 3 old women sat on stone thrones, their bodies covered in shard marks that glowed in shifting patterns. The eldest, a woman with white hair and milky eyes, spoke first. "The first piece has not been seen in 400 years. We believed it destroyed in the shattering." She leaned forward, her blind eyes somehow finding Kiera's face. "Show us." Kiera unwrapped her hand slowly, revealing the teardrop mark that pulsed with white light. The elders drew sharp breaths, and the patterns on their skin flickered faster. "The blind throne knows what you carry," the eldest said. They have known since the moment you bonded. Their inquisitors are already hunting you, and they will not stop until they have the shard or your corpse. Then tell me how to hide it. Kira held up her marked palm. There must be a way to mask the signal, to stop it from calling every fragment in the world. The eldest shook her head slowly. The first piece cannot be hidden. It was designed to gather the other shards, to draw them together so the prophecy could be reassembled. You can no more silence it than you can silence your own heartbeat. Then what am I supposed to do? You have two choices. The eldest raised one gnarled finger. You can run, staying ahead of the throne and the shards that seek you, until the madness takes your mind or the hunters take your life. She raised a second finger. Or you can embrace what you carry. Gather the fragments yourself, piece together the prophecy, and learn what the ancient seers died trying to understand. Kira stared at the old woman, her marked hand trembling at her side. The prophecy drove my mother insane. It killed her. Your mother carried 3 shards without guidance or training. You carry the first piece, which grants clarity that other fragments cannot match. The eldest smiled, and it was not a kind expression. You have a chance she never had. The question is whether you are brave enough to take it. Marcus stepped forward. She will not face this alone. I will protect her. And I will guide her, Senna added, moving to stand on Kira's other side. My shard has been preparing me for this. I know things about the fragments that even you do not. The eldest studied them for a long moment, then nodded slowly. There is a scholar who may help you, Brother Aldrich Cole of the Order of the Welcomed End. He has studied shard lore for 30 years and carries no fragments himself. Find him in the mountain monastery 3 days north of here. He will teach you what you need to know. Kira wrapped her hand again, hiding the glow. And what does this Order of the Welcomed End believe, exactly? The eldest's smile widened. That is something you will have to ask Brother Aldrich yourself.